Greetings and salutations, horror movie fans. My name is Gilbert Ybarra, and welcome back to the Attic Review. On today's episode of Tar, I want to talk about a little forgotten supernatural thriller starring Kevin Bacon in Stir of Echoes. Le Bacon stars in this more than meets the eye ghost story about a working class man that is suddenly flooded with visions from the other side. And the clock is ticking for him to figure out why he's receiving these ghastly messages. In traditional Attic Review fashion, I'm going to break the movie down into the 3 acts as I saw them play out, what I liked, disliked about each act, and how I felt about the movie overall. P.S. There is a really cool Easter egg about this movie pertaining to The Shining, but we'll discuss that at the end. So without further ado, Stir of Echoes. We begin the film as Tom, played by Kevin Bacon, is strumming his guitar as his young son Jake is taking a bath and talking out loud. But what's more alarming than that gross bathwater that Jake was sitting in is the fact that it appears that he is talking to the dead. And oh, he's got the shinning, if you know what I mean. Later on, at an adult cake party, Tom is the leading voice against his wife's sister, named Lisa, and her claims that hypnosis is real. Well, guess what, Tom? You mess with the bull, you get the bullshit. 'Cause Lisa puts Tom in a trance, and welcome to the other side, you penisy bastard. 'Cause later that night, his wife Maggie wants some Mrs. Naughty time. But that ain't happening because the ultimate boner killer arrives in the form of ghost visions and totally messes up the mood. And then, here comes some poltergeist-like hallucinations in the bathroom. Oh shit! Who was that sitting next to him on the couch? I guess that's for us to find out later on. Tom then finds out from Lisa that she left his mind open to anything. So that explains why these gates are open. Well, thank goodness Tom has a sixth sense now, because a few nights later, as he and his wife are enjoying a night out on the town, poor Jake gets abducted by his babysitter, but Tom's spidey sense saves his son. However, Jake wasn't in any real danger. The poor babysitter had heard him mentioning the name of her missing sister, Samantha. So that triggered her into bringing Jake to her mom for more questioning about their missing loved one. Actually, a really sad and confusing way to end Act 1. And you know what else is sad and confusing? If you're watching this video and you're not subscribed, so hit subscribe and let's get into Act 1 likes and dislikes. Act 1 like, damn, Kevin Bacon can act his ass off. He was born for this genre. Great job so far by him and his supporting cast. Another like is the creep factor. The vague flashbacks and sporadic ghost sightings are extremely effective in keeping the audience on their toes and constantly expecting something to happen. And also, I loved the hypnosis sequence. Freaked me out because I don't want that shit. Act 1 dislike. Kinda slow and seems like it presented too many questions all at once. But that's all I can complain about for now, so let's see what's up with Act 2. We begin Act 2 with some father-son bonding time as Tom is interrogating Jake as if he's a suspect in the disappearance of Samantha. But hey, we get over that. Tom and Maggie aren't doing great though, as a week later at a community barbecue, Maggie is venting Lisa about her concerns, but Tom is raising some concerns as his questions about the missing Samantha is drawing quite some interesting reactions from his neighbors. Another day, Tom awakens from a nightmare filled with bloody premonitions, but hey, this ain't Elm Street, baby, we're safe here. Well, I was wrong about that one, as one of Tom's premonitions comes to fruition, as a neighborhood high school football player shoots himself trying to end it. Now, that seems suspicious, but let's keep swimming. Maggie takes Jake for a stroll, and we have ourselves a real shining moment, as a police officer recognizes Jake's abilities, and kindly instructs her to invite Tom to a meeting to discuss his newfound talents. She ignores that shit and leaves Tom to babysit Jake as she sneaks over to get answers from the officer. This part is dope because not only does he explain what Tom is experiencing, but he also asks a very troubling question. What did the ghost say that it wants? He really puts the heat on Maggie by informing her that the ghost is gonna get pissed if Tom doesn't figure this shit out soon, and then she ain't going fucking nowhere. Oh, the officer wasn't playing, as Ghost Samantha is starting to mess with Jake and Maggie and then gives Tom an extended glimpse into the world that she's trapped in. This prompts Tom to visit Lisa again to get some answers, and this time in the dream world, Samantha gives him very clear instructions on what to do. He's got to be like that band Mudvayne and dig. And we end Act 2. You know what I dig? All of you watching without being subscribed, to be subscribed, so please just hit that button and let's get into the Act 2 likes and dislikes. Act 2 like is the unexpected whodunit aspect. It's quietly there and doesn't take focus away from the creepy ghost, but it's there and I appreciate the underlying tone. I love that I feel like I'm trying to solve something while at the same time keeping my guard up for some spooky shit. Quiet Act 2 like was how they portrayed the ghost of Samantha walking. That was low-key nightmare inducing. Act 2 dislike. I'm going to explain the Easter egg later on why this happened, but I don't like the comparisons that it will have to The Shining in this act. Even though I've been doing it the whole time, but there's a reason for it. I personally enjoyed nods to other films. It's fun for me, but I know others have a very difficult time in separating the similarities between two films, and then it's just like, oh, they're copycatting, and Act 2 will bring that out. Anyways, enough complaining, Gilbert. Let's get to Act 3 and the conclusion of Stir of Echoes. The third act is actually pretty simple to summarize. However, I'm going to throw in more details because I like to hear myself talk. I'm just playing, but you know who's not playing? Tom, as he is going to town, just digging up that rental property. And before Maggie can interfere, she gets notice of a family emergency, so she packs up Jake and takes off, and we get to see Tom slide more into insanity. I love it! Time to condense this, because frankly, this next shit makes me really sad. Tom accidentally unveils human remains in the basement of his rental home, and upon contact with Samantha's bones, she unveils her story. Sadly, two classmates that she trusted took advantage of her and assaulted her and, in a panic, accidentally killed her, leaving them to hide her remains to save their own hides. But those male classmates had some help in their cover-up. Tom seeks out neighbor Frank to inform him he knows of their deeds. Frank admits to the sins, but shoos Tom away so that way he can try to pop himself. But landlord Harry and his murderous son, they're there to make sure that there's no loose ends. You ain't getting away with murder again, you bastards, as Frank, I guess he didn't shoot himself after all, shows up and gets some redemption and saves the day. And now Samantha is finally free. And Tom and his family get the hell out of that neighborhood that is just littered with secrets, as Jake is trying to tune that shit out as we finish the movie. And that's it for the movie. Now let's get into Act 3 likes and dislikes and how I felt about the movie overall. And oh yeah, that little Easter egg about The Shining that I was talking about. What a powerful way to end this film. This story traumatizes its way into your memory and makes it unforgettable with that last heart-wrenching 20 minutes. For a mainstream release, this was some strong stuff to present. When we finally learned what happened to Samantha, I was in tears and I was just more angry and sad than scared at that point, and all I wanted was peace for Samantha and just vengeance against her assailants. Another Act 3 like, it tied together nicely at the end. Normally, I get mad at films for not answering all the questions that it presented or for building itself up too much. That wasn't the case for this film. It ended it very nicely. Act 3 dislike. Okay, so I've mentioned in other films that I hate assault scenes like this in films. I really do. So this one was already really hard to watch, but the fact that it was real that Samantha had the intellect of someone much younger, like she wasn't age appropriate in her mind, just really broke my heart. Overall, Stir of Echoes is a well-crafted horror film that kinda got buried with The Sixth Sense and all the other Scream wannabes. I think it's safe to say that we all kind of forgot about this film for a while, so let's show it some love because Stir of Echoes is phenomenal. Alright, so earlier I mentioned that Easter egg about The Shining and its striking resemblance to this film. Rewatching this film before the review, I was like, damn, what am I watching, The Shining? However, there's a reason for it. Sort of. No, Stir of Echoes did not steal from The Shining, because technically, the novel Stir of Echoes was published in 1958, nearly 2 decades before The Shining was published. So the argument there is that if anything, The Shining borrowed elements from Stir of Echoes, hence the likeness. Interesting. And that's it for today's episode of Tar, and my forgotten admiration for this creepy film, and I hope you enjoy Stir of Echoes as much as I did. It has been an absolute pleasure. Please subscribe, tell some friends. My name is Gilbert, your bar, and thank you so much for watching the Attic Review. Smile, Tiger.